All right, Bob, the bridge. So,
Mm,
in this episode, we start with Ray talking to Graciela in the SUV in the desert. He wants to use Graciela to smuggle guns into Mexico, AR-15s. And then something happens that I found myself really enjoying. I
oh
like that
yeah?
the Graciela is her unexpected alpha dogging. So, we don't usually see powerful women on TV exercise the same sexual privilege the powerful men do. But I like that we got that here, and I also like that it was oral sex, which inherently has these connotations of power transfer dynamics, which is nothing against oral sex. Power dynamics make sex way hotter, but I'm just saying the scene actually worked for me on that basis. I don't know. What did you think?
um, so this is gonna be like really weird, maybe, but it was fine for me. But the thing that I got hung up on was the logistics of it, because she starts unbuttoning her blouse and takes off her shirt, and so she's in her bra, and then she's like, "Now go down on me," and I'm like, "Wait, is that a thing I don't know? Like if you wanted oral sex, you could have kept your shirt on." Anyway, that was stuck in my head for some reason. Why did you take your shirt off? You wanted oral sex, but that's neither here nor there. It's probably irrelevant.
Maybe it's a dress. I can't even remember. I guess I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway, so I just like that subverting of expectations there a little bit. More than I necessarily thought I would. It's just a little twist that I enjoyed.
Sure.
Uh, so later, of course, we learn that Caesar doesn't think that Ray should be the one dealing with Graciela, and uh, and I guess Ray really is getting around, right? Because Charlotte decides to bring it up with Ray, and she decides, what better time than when he's in mid thrust while we're having sex too, to ask if I can trust Ray.
Yeah, a
I'm
lot of
sure that's
sex
when
here.
I'm sure that's when you're going to get Ray to be the most honest when he's right in the middle of thrusting.
Right.
But Bob, do you think Ray can be trusted?
For now, it feels like he's just doing some side stuff, and it's not a big deal. But I feel like he's going to bite off more than he can chew pretty soon. So, no, long term.
Yeah, good point. Though it feels like he's probably not going to rip into an offer. Maybe he is, for all I know. But the story is trying to foreshadow that something bad's going to happen. That's what sure seems to be the case.
Yep.
So Marco is still sleeping over at Sonia's house. And here's another thing that I enjoyed. I actually still buy the lack of sexual tension, just the straight up partners. They could be, you know, members of the same sex. In any case, they just don't seem to have a sexual spark, and so that's interesting.
Yeah, I like how they play with that, and I think it's going places, especially because Marco's wife is still giving him a hard time, and it's like where he's and it was almost sad because he wants to restructure his life and come back to her, and she's like, where have you been staying? Oh, at my partner's house, who also happens to be a beautiful blonde woman, and she's like, "Ah, unbelievable," and it's like, no, don't fall for that. Not every guy sleeps at a girl's house because Marco's a good guy. He only messed up once. Come on. That's my reaction anyway.
That's interesting. I mean, it'd be interesting if Sonia seems to be flirting back. I wonder how good of a guy Marco would be.
Oh,
But
that's true. Who
I,
knows? Maybe.
who knows? But right, you see the relationship, and it's like, no, you really have nothing to worry about, Alma.
Right.
But Alma, she decides she's going to get back at him by having the most half-hearted affair imaginable. It just is not very steamy at all. You'd think that the uh, the naughty aspect of an affair would make it exciting, but that seems like out of obligation or duty, she's having that affair.
Well, and she's also pregnant, which nothing wrong with that. You can still have an affair and make it steamy, but it just somehow adds some layer that makes it a little weirder for her to just want to have an affair to get back at her husband while she's pregnant. I don't know.
Yeah. So do you think Marco and Alma will get back together eventually?
Well, I want them to, but now that she's gone and done her affair thing, and he's tried sincerely, I feel like, and she still kicks him out. It feels it feels hard for me to care about that coming together and being repaired anymore. I feel like the moment's gone, and I just assume that they're separated for a while.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, yeah, it's hard for me to be on Marco's. Well, I sympathize with Marco a lot, but I just don't see the same thing that he sees in Alma as really this drive to make things work with her, knowing what we know about Alma and her half-hearted affair, I guess.
Right, right.
So Jack Childress is our latest candidate for the big bad guy. So they go to his house, find a book, guns, and they're convinced that this is the guy, and they have this standoff with him shooting at people, and Sonya talks him down, and they shoot each other, the way only seems to happen in TV shows.
Yeah.
Um, did you think this is the guy? Sonya seemed skeptical at the end, which makes me seem skeptical.
I'm skeptical. I think he's a pawn. I don't think he's the guy. And one thing that they deliberately left out, which made me want to look it up, but I didn't. We had a lot of foreshadowing of. So we had the girl who died in the previous episode, who right before she died said, "I got the eyes right." So they have the sketch artist who came in, and for the
Oh
life of me,
yeah.
I'm just not a cop or good at this kind of stuff. But like, did this guy's eyes match the eyes from that drawing? Who knows? But they deliberately didn't even go there. But it seemed like if I were these characters in this drama, that would be one of the first things I would talk about after arresting a guy. Hey, does this guy match the guy we have a fucking drawing of on the wall? But no, the show doesn't do that at all, and it sort of bugged me. I'm like, really? Come on. You just did that conveniently because you don't want us as the viewer to know what's going on yet. And sorry to get on a soapbox just for a minute, but it's just, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back right there. Like, you don't need to hide anything more. We're like on episode whatever number, 6, 7, 8, and we're still like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? Let's guess. It's like, no, we already have all the pieces. The characters in the drama already know if he's the guy or not. So just tell us. Too much?
Fair enough. As soon as we saw his face early on in that standoff, that's when I thought, no, this can't be the guy. They wouldn't just show him to us so easily.
Right. Maybe so. And you're
Anyway,
right that they did shoot each other in a very convenient way that only happens in movies, both in the shoulder or something.
yeah, well, Sonya got that welt because she was wearing that bulletproof vest, I guess. Um, so yeah, I guess we will see the fallout next time. They're very big on ending with something big and then only resolving it in the next episode in the bridge, and that's what they were doing here. And maybe someone will whip out that eyes sheet first thing next episode.
Could be.
Stephen Linder is alive and well. Well, he was at the beginning of the episode, at least.
Right.
I missed that dude. Good to see him again for some reason. Uh,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
got his latest job, Sarah Vega, to talk some sense into her, and we find out she's chilling with Fausto, who's getting tailored. Pro tip for any tailors of drug lords: don't point out their weight gain. Um, but Linder catches up with her, and Fausto catches up with them, and is pissed and starts. No, I guess he doesn't chase after him, right?
No,
Because
he just points a gun at him and then, gets caught up in the heat of the moment but doesn't do anything.
but we didn't see how they went from taking the body back and wagging a
Yeah.
finger in his face to all of a sudden just going their separate ways, and then they meet up again here. It seems like there's some backstory, or at least some harsh words that were probably spoken that maybe we didn't get.
Right. And I'm feeling like this helped kind of show how everything's connected. Because this show does do a lot of parallel stories that are like their own stories, but then slowly but surely brings them all to some inflection point of connectivity. And I'm
Yeah,
on the fence if I like that or if I just want them to be separate stories. But now we're getting a little more sense of how everyone's working together, I guess.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. So Fry and Adriana, they find out about Jack Childress. We only see a little bit of them, and Fry's too messed up by going sober to really pursue the story. I guess he has like some sort of seizure from withdrawal or something like that. He wasn't on something else, or he wasn't poisoned or anything like that, right? It's just withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be so negative because I'm going to wag my finger again, but I felt like the show sort of rushed over this, like, people who drink too much are dicks, and then when they stop drinking, they're not dicks anymore, but they can't handle it because of the drinking. That's not exactly what they're doing, but everything was really rushed because he was kind of a highfalutin, do whatever he wants, king of the office, dickhead, and now he's like trying to get clean, and it's so hard for him. And if only he would have done this a long time ago, as if like those are the only two states of mind that somebody could be. But
Yeah, and I'll along those same lines, I'll admit sheepishly, I suppose, that I don't quite remember what scared him so sober. Do
uh,
you?
right. Right.
Like it's
No.
obviously a big deal for him to just decide and go cold turkey and have it be super hard and keep through. But I did I miss something?
Well,
I don't remember.
he had like his near-death experience, but then he was still kind of a dickhead for a little while after that before he went sober. So it couldn't have been that. So it must have been something. I'm not going to blame us for not remembering. It feels like the one big event that would drive somebody to be sober wasn't the one. So and it was something else that was smaller. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah, and I'll be embarrassed when some listener, someone points out the obvious reason why we're supposed to know that.
Right.
But anyway, that's what I'm feeling right now. Any final thoughts on this episode of The Bridge, Bob?
Oh, I guess we didn't cover in that shootout scene. The show made a big point of showing that, uh, you know, fat cop's
No, that
face get
sheriff's
blown
deputy.
off.
That's true. I guess that was
It was
yeah,
just,
that happened.
it was pretty shocking. It happened, and you feel bad, and it was pretty gruesome. Anyway, final thoughts. It was fine. I think I still enjoy this show. I want to see where it goes. I just don't want it to fall into some of these traps of storytelling that bug me personally, but it's overall fine.
Yeah, I'd like to see some action, some good old Western shootouts going on. I guess I didn't necessarily love how that went down. Not that I didn't hate it either. Just some variety in there is fun to see that a little bit, and everything's connected. Reminds me of other shows like that. Got the political statements that come and go. Yeah, anyway, we'll keep at it. Keep watching.
All right.